These children in northern Uganda are dancing with joy, but they've been to hell and back, forced by Kony to be sex slaves and mindless child soldiers. I'm Paul Raphael, a foreign correspondent. During the height of Kony's powers, I spent many weeks in northern Uganda investigating. This is the film that I shot. Kony abducted more than 25,000 children, but only 15,000 came home. Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Mugisha, who led the battle against Kony, explains why he abducted only children.
He normally targets from 8 to 13 years. He looks at that innocent stage, at that fragile stage, where you can easily brainwash the children.
This man knows Kony best. For 2 decades, Brigadier Bunya was Kony's third in charge. Just before I spoke with him, he'd been captured by the Ugandan army. Did he want to abduct the young children because they were pure, so that he could reform their minds in the way that he thought?
Exactly. That it's a new cassette, like a new cassette. So it needs very young people who doesn't possess anything, like a wife, children, motor car. So he wanted people who have nothing to remember behind.
This is the Children of War Centre in Gulu for rescued LRA kids. A few days earlier, these boys were child soldiers for Kony, some as young as 10. Even after their capture, they still had the urge to kill. What did you say?
I said that from there you shoot your brother is not good.
You shoot my brother?
Yes. Shoot your brother.
Why would you shoot my brother?
Because it's not good, no?
So, because the LRA, you're LRA, you'd shoot my brother?
Yes.
And at what age were the children trained to be soldiers?
Oh, they came, some of them were really too young. They were 13, 12, 11, 9, some of them were too young.
Many hundreds of LRA children were forced to do far worse things. I recorded them telling social workers the horror stories of their captivity. Opira was 14 years old, and he's telling me he saw many kids as young as 8 forced to kill other kids with machetes. He also had to kill children and eat their flesh, and he still suffers nightmares. To help rehabilitate them, the LRA children were encouraged to sing. It helped lift the heavy mental burden they carried. The children returned to their villages, but every afternoon more than 20,000 fled back to the safety of Gulu town. They were still scared of Kony. Deeply afraid of the LRA, 90% of the population fled to special camps set up by the government to protect them. I joined a United Nations food convoy to one of these camps. But even with this food, many of the people in these camps died of starvation, especially children. Every day at the Children of War Centre in Gulu, parents were reunited with their lost kids. They hadn't seen them in years. Beatrice is only 16 years old, held by Kony for 3 years. She was one of many wives of an LRA captain. Beatrice told me he married her LRA style, with a gun to her head to force her to have sex. The baby is his. I had tears in my eyes when I saw Beatrice reunited with a friend who thought she was dead. A few days before I left Uganda, the army captured one of Kony's 55 wives. They forced her, over the radio, to plead to Kony to surrender. The army took me on a patrol deep into LRA country where they were hunting Kony. He'd been spotted in the area, but by the time we arrived, he'd disappeared. By 2008, Kony and the LRA were pushed out of Uganda, and now they're terrorising neighbouring countries. Kony has been on the run for a quarter of a century, but now, with the world aware of his horrific war crimes, how much longer can he hide?